Are you embarrassed to put your trust in Peter Mandelson, Prime Minister? What does it say about your judgment, Prime Minister? Should the police get involved? Is there more to come, Prime Minister?
These pictures we're seeing of the Prime Minister leaving Downing Street for the first time since the revelations at the weekend. He's heading for the Commons to talk about that recent trip to China and Japan.
Well, you can see there, you know, he's leaving Downing Street to go to the Commons. And it's quite obvious he's met with the press entourage. And you know what they're going to ask. You know full well what they're going to ask. Have you got anything to say? Because of the connection or friendship that you know is alleged to have gone on between Starmer and Mandelson. They're gonna think, well, what did you actually know? Politically, he's not going to say very much, if anything at all, is he? And it will be very telling to find out what comes out in due course. Now, what I want to do is show you this one. This is a tweet that came out, which is a little bit of when he went to the Commons, which is very important. And this reads, Starmer backed Mandelson. Now Mandelson quits to protect him. Keir Starmer told the country he had full confidence in Peter Mandelson, even with the Mandelson in the Epstein files. Now Mandelson has left the party to avoid damaging Starmer. People haven't forgotten what Starmer said. Prime Minister who keeps shielding the same insiders is a disgrace. Now, that's the tweet. What I want to do now is play a little bit of what went on, and we can react further to it. It's probably the same song and dance we usually used to with this lot, but I think it's very important we have a look.
Does the Prime Minister have full confidence in Peter Mandelson?
Mr. Speaker, let me start by saying the victims of Epstein are the forefront of our minds. He was a despicable criminal who committed the most heinous crimes and destroyed the lives of so many women and girls. The ambassador has repeatedly expressed his deep regret for his association with him. He's right to do so. I have confidence in him, and he's playing an important role in the UK-US relationship.
You heard him. You heard him.
This is interesting, Mr. Speaker. He says the ambassador has expressed full regret, but the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein have called for Lord Mandelson to be sacked. And just so the House is aware, in 2019, Jeffrey Epstein was convicted of child prostitution and sex trafficking that took place between 2002 and 2000.
Now, just to bear in mind, this Commons exchange is historic because it's referring to him as in his position as ambassador, which he was put in place to do. So it's just very relevant to what's going on.
2005. That is the precise period which Lord Mandelson called Jeffrey Epstein his best pal. Absolutely. Was the Prime Minister aware of this intimate relationship when he appointed Lord Mandelson to be our ambassador in Washington?
Mr. Speaker, as she and the House would expect, full due process was followed during this appointment, as it is with all ambassadors. The ambassador has repeatedly expressed his deep regret. He is right to do so. He's now playing an important part in the US-UK relationship.
Mr. Speaker, I asked the Prime Minister if he knew. The fact that he didn't answer indicates that he probably did know. I wasn't asking a question about process. I was asking a question about his judgment. The Daily Telegraph reports today that while Lord Mandelson was business secretary, he brokered a deal with Jeffrey Epstein while he was business secretary, and that this occurred after Epstein had been convicted of child sex offenses. Given this new information, does the Prime Minister really think it is tenable for our ambassador to remain in post?
That's a very good question. You know, there is historic links there, as she's just quite rightly said, and a lot of this ended up in the public domain already. And it's a question of, if these people end up in the jobs they do, then what exactly did we know about them beforehand? Now, bear in mind, as I said, this Commons exchange is historic. This already happened. And you can see the exchange. I have confidence in him. Do you really? Well, what about this? Yada, 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 yada. And then you saw the clip I played right at the beginning of this, where he just couldn't get in the car fast enough, like collapsed in a heap, out of there. It was inevitable that the press were going to ambush it. Anyway, let's have a listen.
Mr. Speaker, the relationship between the US and the UK is one of our foremost relationships, and I have confidence in the ambassador in the role that he is doing.
Mr. Speaker, I think it is embarrassing that the Prime Minister is still saying that he has confidence in a man who was brokering deals with convicted child sex offenders while sitting in government. That is a disgrace. This government has repeatedly refused to declare Lord Mandelson's full interests. And as part of the appointment, there will have been extensive government vetting, including details and timings of Peter Mandelson's dealings with Jeffrey Epstein. So will the Prime Minister publish all these documents, including those about his interests?
Well, Mr. Speaker, as I say, full due process was gone through in relation to this appointment, as would be expected. As for the publication of documents, as she well knows, that's subject to a procedure which includes an independent element. Be subject to the usual procedure.
Avoid. Obviously, this is a giant and utter screw up. But one thing you have to remember as well is that all of this, all these questions and answers would have been predetermined beforehand. They know what one's going to ask and what the other one's going to answer. It's pantomime, but it is interesting to go through and just remind ourselves of what went on.
The Prime Minister cannot answer any questions. That is not the behaviour of someone who has full confidence. The ambassador should be in the White House talking about how we respond to an incursion into NATO airspace. Instead, he is giving interviews about himself to The Sun. This is a man who already had to be removed from cabinet twice. And now we learn that he was brokering billion-pound deals with Jeffrey Epstein while business secretary. I didn't get a proper answer. He's talking about process. This is not about process. This is about judgment. Just last week, I told him that he should sack his deputy prime minister. They all cheered and congratulated themselves. She was gone 2 days later. His face too is broken and he's got a totally new front bench. So I will ask him again, will he make sure that these documents are published, and will he actually instruct Peter Mandelson to publish all his correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein?
Full accountability. You know, people have to be held to account with this. How can somebody come into a position of authority, a position of government, a position of responsibility, and end up, you know, creating this situation because of their dealings with whoever it happens to be, in this case, Jeffrey Epstein? And look what's happening. Starmer's getting absolutely floored in this exchange because he point blankly will not answer or give a straight answer to any of the questions.
Well, she says the ambassador's been in the White House discussing NATO. He is, as we all are, with a number of international calls this morning and on Ukraine, as well as the attack in Doha yesterday. Mr. Speaker, I see she's finally catching up with the questions that she should have asked last week about the Deputy Prime Minister. In the meantime, Mr. Speaker, we have been...
So, right on the defensive, you know, right on the defensive. Ridicule, look what she's doing, blah, 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 blah. Very, very serious situation. And you get that load of baloney. It really is unbelievable. Unbelievable, to say the least. Now, I want to show you another couple of emails here. And one of the things that's very important to go through, I copped a little bit of flack with the last couple of videos I did saying, well, what's your source, Andy? Where are you getting these from, Andy? Be careful, Andy. These Twitter users are just, you know, no good. Andy, just be careful. But what I want to do is show you these couple of emails, and then I want to show you the sources of the information, because that's very important. So this is one here. Now, there's been some redaction of the email addresses, but you can see on there it quite clearly says from Jeffrey Epstein to Peter Mandelson. And there's a conversation there, including the underground walk from number 10 to the Ministry of Defence with GB for secret late night talk with Libs, GB 2010. Is that Gordon Brown, I wonder, just to guess at the initials. Next one. I have faith, value of some chapters in your book should now increase. And then finally got him to go today. That's the last one. So he's discussing internal government related issues with somebody outside of government. And again, you have this situation where he seemed to know or have something on just about anybody. Here's another one here. This is 2010 again, so people will have to go back in history and have a look and think about their memories at these times. Just leaving number 10, we'll call. Are you home? Said to be announced tonight, or SD be announced tonight. That probably should be announced tonight. Again, sources tell me 500 billion euro bailout almost complete. So again, 16-year-old emails. So they go back a long way. Now, there's literally countless pieces of information, PDFs, emails, all sorts of things. And I want to show you where these come from so you can go and have a mooch yourself. Now, the first one is this one here. Now, the website address is jmail.world, world as in the globe. So jmail.world. And as you can see at the top, it says you are logged in as Jeffrey Epstein. These are real emails released by Congress. Explore by name, contribute to the starred list, search or visit a random page. So these are all ones that have been disclosed, to do with Miss Maxwell. Then you've got emails to do with, just verifying something there, a couple of emails to do with Elon Musk, and so on and so on and so on. So that's jmail.world, and that was his inbox apparently at the time, according to what they've decided to release to the general public. Now, the other one, which is a little bit more relevant, which is what I got some of the information from yesterday, is this one here. This is the US Department of Justice, and they have a whole library of information. The website address is justice.gov/Epstein. And as you can see, this site houses materials responsive under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. This site will be updated if additional documents are identified for release. So this is work in progress, and they're doing this all the time. So the things that I released yesterday, to do with Starmer, if I say Starmer, you can see there's 33 results. Now, these are all PDFs, which are absolutely full of communication going back and forward, where they mention Keir Starmer in one way or the other, be it in an official email, something that's happened or whatever. Let's go. I mean, one of those files, I think it's the top one, data set 9, his name actually crops up 12 times in that one document. So we go Sunak. See again, there's 24 results there. We say Blair. 811 results. I mean, there's Larry's and all sorts there. Well, let's try Tony Blair. 258 results. So there is literally tons and tons and tons of information. And as I said, that one's justice.gov /Epstein. So you can go and have a look at that. And they're adding more stuff all the time. You get people plastering it all over the World Wide Web, but that is the actual source. That's the repository where they're all coming from. So let me know what you think in the comments. As always, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, share my stuff. I'll talk to you soon. Toodaloo.